wish I could have done this episode with Hot Wheels.
Hang on.
You want to do it? Account access over expired. You kidding me, bro? What do I have to do? Just do this and do this. Maybe. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, buddy. What is going on with this stupid thing?
Well, all right.
Hang on. It doesn't seem to want to do it. Hang on a second. I'm having technical issues. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, as I said in the short, that some of you may have seen and some of you may have not have seen, the day that I was originally wanting to come back, wasn't able to because the power kept going out here at the studio, and did it finally go? Are you? Yeah, there we go. Whoop. There we go. Okay, now we're back in live. Okay, good. Good ski. And I'm gonna hang on. There we go. So, as I was saying, the day that I wanted to come back, we were having power issues in the neighborhood, and it would come on, go off, come on, go off, all bleeding day. So there was never a good time to do an episode. All right. And then this past Friday, because of this coming week was VBS. Monday through Thursday is VBS. And we went down to Statesville to get the granddaughter. And we went down there. Gotta watch the time because I gotta leave at 9:45. Went to go get her. And that Friday I got off of work and it just didn't work out that Friday. And I was shooting for this Friday because nothing is going on this Friday, because this Friday was supposed to be us taking the grandkid back. After staying with us, all week, right after my wife gets done doing care team. Oh yeah, care team's Friday too. And it was great. It was going to be great. It was going to be beautiful. I get to spend more time with her, get to know her better. My wife gets to spend time with her, and it didn't work out. And so that's what's happened so far with this. And I'm hoping in August to do a lot better. I really am. Because I really want to bring this show back, and I wish Hot Wheels would come back to the show. I haven't really got a good chance to talk to Hot Wheels about coming back to the show. But then today, last night, I don't believe everything I see on social media, because social media lies about a lot of celebrities and other people's passings. And, I looked it up, and Ozzy Osbourne passed away at 76 years young. And some of you guys may have seen the short that I posted, some of you guys may have not have. But, he has, both with Black Sabbath and with his solo career, has had monumental success. And so many great songs over the years. And, I always joked, and I know a lot of other people always joke, that Ozzy was gonna, be one of those celebrities that are like vampires, and they just live forever. And there was nothing that was going to stop them, look at the Rolling Stones. They're still around. And, it was always, Ozzy was always going to be Ozzy, and Ozzy was going to live forever, and there was nothing nobody could do about it. And I kind of had a suspicion when they mentioned that Ozzy had Parkinson's, that would be one of the major influences to his passing, because of complications, kind of like what Freddie Mercury went through with the complications of his disease he had. Because these diseases take too many people young, and it's a shame, And my heart goes out to the family, because the loss of anybody is a lot. And, man, good old Ozzy. Bill Lewis and I used to work together with each other at Clint Pappas. And Bill Lewis was one of those people that had seen Ozzy way more than I have. And, he did a really good impersonation of Ozzy. And, it's unbelievable. Hang on. Hey, Pizza, can I help you? I don't know who that was, but the old Dante's Pizza usually gets them. Now we'll see if they call back. But anyway, so yeah, Ozzy has had quite an influence on, multitudes of bands, bands I listen to, and, and follow, and he was, one of the most influential people, sure, he got in a lot of trouble because he was crazy. Because we all hear Ozzy stories and like, wow, I can't believe he did that. One of my favorite is when he urinated on the Alamo. I know that's, disrespectful to Texas and all, but that's still one of those stories like, man, he did that? And, Kelly and Tony Hawk's son, I don't know Tony Hawk's son's name, marrying and having a child, and, or not Kelly, but, Kelly and what's that dude's name? My brain just went blank. Hang on. Tony Hawk with Cobain's daughter. There's Killian. Oh yeah, the lavender hair. Ugh. See, personal life. Became engaged to lifelong partner Slipknot DJ Sid. Oh, Sid. Oh yeah, Sid Wilson of Slipknot. That's right. Poor guy. But yeah, I mean, and you know, Michael J. Fox, you know, battling his own Parkinson's and the final concert. All proceeds being donated to the Parkinson's disease, you know, and it's like, yeah, you know, that's, you know, a good thing. And speaking of Cobain, and his daughter, Frances Bean, let's see, Frances Bean. Did I spell that right? Frances Bean Cobain, there you go. Married Tony Hawk. Son. You know, it is a shame that see, Riley Hawk, there you go. Skateboarder. R.E.M. singer Michael Stipe. That's Cobain's godfather. Ronnie Walker, Cobain Hawk. Boy, is that not a name? What is Kelly's daughter's son's name? And where is it? Let's see. Salvation Army, personal life. Yeah, but what is the... boy. Sid Wilson. I know this is all over the place, but man, I just don't know what to think, man. I haven't got my thoughts straight. I keep trying to get my brain racked up, and maybe by Friday's episode, this will be a lot better. And they proposed at the final concert with Black Sabbath. So they just haven't had time to, you know, well, filmology. Well, he's been in a lot of films. Yeah, no, it's about due for a new album. Because they haven't done an album since 22. That's Cobain's daughter owns like the rights to his imagery, and I don't know if she actually owns let's see, 37% of her late father's estate. She controls the public rights to her father's name and image. Wow. And I guess, how much does, see, 37%? What does Courtney Love own? Or did she lose it all? I wouldn't be surprised if she lost it all, because, I mean, I know Cobain had, you know, his love for her, and, you know, a lot of the songs was about her and how she helped him and everything. Where's the personal life? Legacy. philanthropy, performance, music, lyrics, styling, influences. Whatever. Let's see, Slipknot, Craig Jones, Jay Willing, 57 minutes 30. Where is it? Okay, there we go, Slipknot. You know, it was also, and you know, the other thing that really is messed up is we never did talk about the passing of Joey Jordison. Paul Gray. I don't think we really talked about them. And Paul Gray passed at, let's see, 38 young. And not Francis Bean. Where's Joey? Joey passed at 46 young. Wow. He died 4 years ago. Wow. Wow. You know, it's crazy when you live past the age of the celebrity, the people that in bands and stuff, you know, like, you know, I was sitting here and I surpassed the age of Cobain, and I was like, wow. You know, I'm looking and it's like Paul, and then, you know, Joey and I, you know, I'm pretty much the same age as Joey was when he passed. And it's like, wow. Limp Bizkit. Yeah, let's look at the past band members, because they've had their okay, Clown, Mick, Corey, Sid, Jim, Make, Feed, Kill, Repeat. So they've been together since, you know, all releases except for that one. That was in 96. All releases since. So Alessandro been there since the Great Chapter 5, the Great Chapter. Michael has been there since the end so far. Unknown Sampler. And I'm going to butcher this guy's name, Elo. Then the date. Paul Gray. Yeah, he was an OG. Joey, he's an OG. I wonder why Greg left. Was that the money dispute one? Let's see, Greg. Second longest serving member of the Knot. Okay, so where does it say it? It doesn't say. I thought it did say. Yeah, the next episode is definitely going to be more thought out and well planned. This is just kind of, you know, me having to, you know, think about, you know, all the stuff that has happened here in recent days, and I'm just not 100%. John was given the nickname 133 as a reference to the processor speed of his computer. Oh yeah, that's old school computer, bro. Let's see, 133. I wonder if that was Pentium 4. Because I remember having one of those. Computers with one of those in. Okay, that was 2000. Okay, so that's a P3 then. Oh shoot, dadgummit. The original launch March 22nd, 93. Okay, 666 or 66 megahertz. Okay. Whoa. Nice. Clock speed rate was 60 megahertz. Desktop. Yeah, server. Oh, here's the. Wow. Where's the clock? Okay, here's 150. That was the Pro. Okay, Northwood was. Okay, here's the clock rate speeds. 233, 150. 66. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong processor there, bro. Anyway, I guess it doesn't really matter. Intel 133, okay. Okay, Intel Pentium 133. Desktop 133. Bus speed 66. Clock multipliers 2. That was just the Intel Pentium, the original Pentium. Interesting. '93, baby. Yeah. PCs have gotten way ridiculously faster. Hive Mind 2024. Is that just Grammys? I don't watch the Grammys. Grammys suck. Yeah. But not discography. Oh man. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's just so much going on, bro, and so much running through my head. Can't check the time on this computer. Okay, I got a few more minutes. This has been one heck of a week. Because, out of these last performance, I didn't watch it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Wonderful tributes. wonderful. And there's more to come after its passing so young. And, you know, and I haven't brought this up yet. The passing of, my brain is so white. Jamal, the guy that played the Huxtable's son, Theo, he passed from accidental drowning. And, you know, regardless of what Cosby did, you know, throughout life, you know, and it's horrible, you know, the stuff he did. But the Cosby Show was, you know, one of the shows you watched, you know, it was synonymous like TGIF. You know, where you watch Full House, Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, you know, it was, you know, wholesome, good family TV. And, you know, we all watched it. And it's, you know, a shame that he passed away so young, too. And, it's just crazy. You know, I mean, I hear rumors that Cosby is going to bring back his show, and I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, if he does, you know, whatever, you know, I won't watch it, you know, full time. I may check it out to see, you know, if it, you know, rekindles the magic, but I probably won't do it immediately because I have no desire to do it immediately. Home Improvement is set to come back in November with original cast. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm curious about it, obviously, because that was another show that we watched, you know, because it was, you know, great TV. The cast was likable, you know. It was a shame that Randy, the middle child, did in real life. And, you know, maybe, you know, and I think he has appeared on Last Man Standing, or had a little bit piece in Last Man Standing once or so many times. And, you know, maybe he's turned his life around finally. And I saw a thing on Facebook, I forget exactly how it goes, where, you know, people can't, essentially it says that people can't come up with original ideas, so they're rehashing shows from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s to, you know, have TV anymore. And, you know, I wish these shows, you know, the best. But if it's going to be anything like what they did when they brought back Full House with Fuller House and tried to do it that way, I watched it. And, you know, Bob Saget was another one. Oh, man. Bob. I didn't realize how raunchy he was because, you know, when you watch Full House and, you know, you don't know about the raunchiness, like, when I was little, Betty White, I didn't know how raunchy she was. And, you know, until later, and it was like, wow, you know. And even Tim Allen, you know, he was the one that was kind of like, because, you know, I mean, you could say, oh, you could have seen their stand-up routine, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you're right, I could have. But I have never really been interested in stand-up comedians like that. I mean, I have recently gotten into, you know, watching some of, you know, these new upcoming comedians do their thing, you know, in little short bits on, you know, YouTube. But I remember watching like George Carlin, you know, and I never liked Andrew Play Dice. I never really liked him. Seinfeld, I never really watched a stand-up comedian stand-up stuff. I watched Seinfeld, but never really. And you know, at the opening of that, you have it stand up, but I never really. I have never really, you know, and I've watched because my parents wanted to watch, you know, like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour with Jeff Foxworthy, who later went on to be smarter than a fifth grader, and you know, all those guys. What is that one that made it into movies? In Cars and the health inspector, and they honestly, Cars was really good. I like Cars 1 and 2. I mean, the first one was, of course, obviously better, but you know, didn't like Health Inspector. I just don't know. Those movies really wasn't up my style. You know, it wasn't my style. I tried to watch them multiple times. I just can't do it. I can't do those movies. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think that, you know, it's like, you know, back in the day when Garth Brooks, you know, was like, you know, I guess he's still performing music. I don't know. I don't follow Garth Brooks anymore. My parents liked Garth Brooks back in the day, and we watched his concerts on television and everything. And he had some good tunes. I'm not a big fan of country. I can listen to it for maybe an hour, and then I'm like done, because it makes it really hard to go to my parents' house when they want to listen to country, and I'm like, With my parents also, you know, are the ones that listen to the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and some 2000s. But you know, they have their, you know, they use my Pandora to, you know, put on stations, and you know, they're listening to Leonard Skinner, and you know, they really never was a big fan of Ozzy or White Snake, which White Snake, my cousin, who's a Yankee, introduced me to White Snake. I have their album, you know, and GNR, you know, I have Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and then after that I really kind of, and then their earlier stuff, and then I kind of just like fell off from GNR. I remember when Linkin Park came out, and you know, there were some good tunes and everything, and you know, Audio Slave and Soundgarden and everything Chris Cornell did. You know, I was sad to hear Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, you know, going young. And you know, all the wonderful tributes that were done for them. I mean, and you know, I didn't really, you know, think, you know, even Drowning Pool, you know, with the song Bodies that gets made fun of, you know, because you know, that one song, I Can Count to Three, you know, it's funny, you know, but Johnny Paul, you know, Bodies and Thinner, maybe two of their songs. I don't really like the song Sinner. Linkin Park's first album, you know, for me were, you know, great tunes, and then after that, I really struggled to listen to full albums. I have my favorites. You know, and Nine Inch Nails, you know, is doing the full album for Tron Arius, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that movie. You know, even before I found out Nails was doing the music to it, and then I saw the preview where what's his face is the main character of the movie, and I'm like, I still want to see it. Don't get me wrong. I may not go to the theaters to see it because I don't know if it's worth like $80 worth to go see it in the theaters. The War Rock Orchestra is coming to Asheville. I think in November it is. And I'd like to go see that because I don't know if you guys ever seen the Rock Orchestra, but if you haven't, you should check them out because Aaron and the Maddie from did have been guest vocalist. I don't know if Aaron was supposed to be the main vocalist, or it's just kind of like the whole orchestra thing, and then just bringing in guests. I'm not 100% sure how that works. But, their cover of Zombie, which has been covered a lot here lately, because Bad Wolves covered it. And, I never was a Cranberries fan back in the day. I heard that song, and, it's catchy, but I was never a Cranberries fan. And then, their Metallica cover of Nothing Else Matters. I like that cover, I don't know how Metallica feels about it, but, And then I've seen a lot of things of making fun of AC/DC and, honestly, as much as I like AC/DC, and I remember being in Southern Illinois when Rush's Snakes and Arrows came out, and I got that album, and I think it was Ozzy's Black. Okay, I can never remember which band released the what, so I'll do some research and correct myself if I'm wrong, because I'm probably wrong. And I'll correct myself Friday. But Ozzy released Black Ice, and AC/DC released Black Rain? Or was it first? I don't actually remember. But I got the Ozzy one, and because I think that was the one released first. You know what? I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up. Because I may listen to this in the car on the way to the doctor's appointment. Well, I'm going to be cranking some Ozzy anyway, but, let's see. Ozzy. I got like 15 minutes before I can go. I have to go. See, Ozzy. Oh, man, that's not the one I wanted. I got it. Oh, it's Wikipedia. Okay, here we go. Wikipedia. Okay, let's scroll all the way down here. Whoa. Wait, 20 million? Wait, where was that? Drug use. Who cares? Oh, here we go. 220 million. There we go. Let's see. Patient number 9, 22. Black Rain. Okay, Ozzy released Black Rain in 2007. Okay, Black Rain with Ozzy. And AC/DC. Let's see, AC/DC. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, Malcolm Young died in, where is it? I know they did it. Hang on. Black Ice. There you go. Wait, where's the albums? Black Ice. Okay, 2008. So that was 2000. Okay, so it was Ozzy first. Okay. So I went to Southern Illinois to a place called Creel Springs in Southern Illinois. And When I was there visiting my friend Wall Beal, Rush, yeah, there you go, Rush.
We went from little town of Pearl Springs,
and let me tell you, when I say little town, this town was little. I mean, they only had like one red light, and then once you got out there, you basically drove for miles to get to the big city. And we went into the mall. And I was looking for some albums to buy, and we're Snakes and Arrows. Okay, Snakes and Arrows. I got Snakes and Arrows and Ozzy's Black Rain. Okay, why do I always get those two backwards? Probably because it's some selling titles, and it's like, So those are my mementos of Southern Illinois, because I can officially say I bought those albums. Let's see, Sneaking Hours. May 1st, 2001. When was Black Ice? Or not Black Ice, Black Rain. May 22nd.
So I was in Southern Illinois in May.
Because I was there because Black Rain was either releasing that day or was going to be released that week. I can't remember. And I either got it that day or after it released. But you know, May. I jump back to 2007. Oh, there we go. May 2007. And this was released the 22nd, so I was there the tail end of May because I was working at Clement Campus, and Bill left and said he was going to move to Southern Illinois, said he was going to move to Southern Illinois, and I told him I was going to go visit him, and I visited him, and whatever, small town. And then we went to a casino that was sitting on, which was a riverboat sitting on the river, which I guess is how they got away with that. And we passed the Superman water tower that had the big old, Superman emblem on it because it was like Smallville or whatever you want to call it, Southern Illinois. And, we did that. In Southern Illinois, even though it was a small town, wasn't that bad of a town. I mean, didn't seem like there was a lot to do, and I don't know how Wild Bill, I guess, his friend got him, working for the city and whatever, but, it's like, it's like, so it was fascinating. And that's one trip, I remember, I also remember when I went to Louisiana to go visit my friend Josh, because Josh brought Steven to Southern Illinois to help find a job, because this was during the recession. I got let go from Clement Papa's because the recession was happening and many businesses was downsizing, and we was jobless for like almost 2 years because nobody was wanting to hire, and I ended up at the company that I'm working for now, and that was supposed to only be a stepping stone. I was only supposed to be there through the recession. Then I'd get a forklift driving job, or where I could drive a forklift, or a genie boom, or cherry picker, or a scissor lift, or go back to factory work. And here we are, 14 years into the future, And I'm still there. It's at times not the job that I signed up for, because a lot of things have changed for the worse. And I just don't know. It's just not, because it's like the 20-year-old seem to try to run it. Then you have this older gent that was in his 50s that always left early without telling anybody, because, he's hurting, blah, 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 and that was a downfall for him. And they've gotten rid of, a few of the bad seeds. There's a few more they need to get rid of, but, who knows if it's going to work out, because they may back down eventually, because they usually do back down. They get their point across and put people in fear, and then they just pull back on the reins and drop them. Mic drop. Because it's like, you see what we can do? This could happen to you if you don't behave and do what we say and be better. And then it goes back to the way it was. A continuous cycle. And it gets old. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, that happens at all jobs, all jobs, all jobs. I'm not denying it. But I guarantee you that 99% of the jobs out there is not as bad as what it is there, because granted, it's part-time work, Granted, we're not supposed to have cigarettes. Granted, we're not supposed to have vapes inside the building. Granted, we're not supposed to have cell phones inside the building. And yet, it gets slid. It slides by. It just, Well, I just don't know anymore. It's just one of those things where you're kind of like sitting back, watching things happen, wondering what's going to happen, and then when it happens, you're like, okay. And when it happens again, you're like, okay. So when it's just going to go back to the way it was. Because it's eventually going to go back to the way it was. And, whatever. But yeah, today I think I'm going to crank some Aussie. I may even throw some Linkin Park and, Audio Slave and Soundgarden into the mix, just because, even though, Ozzy has left us, today would be a good day to jam out some tunes. Every day is a good day to jam out to some tunes, but today is a really good day to jam out to tunes. Because the one person I thought would be around forever, like Keith Richards, he's going home, So this Friday, we will be doing another episode of the show. I'm hoping to be able to do it around noonish, because, Friday, Saturday are the days where wrapping up the vacation, and I'm going to have to start getting back into work mode and get back to work logic and, all this, and, it's going to be interesting because, my first vacation this year was missions conference. Great stuff. Second one, VBS. I love VBS. And then the third one's going to be the Floridian trip. And, as always, Florida is a cool place to visit. Jacksonville may not be one of my favorite places to visit, but hey, you know, this trip could, you know, be the one where I'm like, oh, Jacksonville isn't that bad. Because we're going to go see family. And so that could be really cool. You know, it could be, you know, the defining thing of Florida, because I've been all over Florida and Jacksonville, and, you know, as I say, Jacksonville is not my fave. But, you know, who knows, this may be the defining moment. I mean, it's, Jesus, like a 2 hour, hang on, I'll write it down. It's like a 6 hour and 10-minute ride, you know, like 430 miles down, which isn't bad, because the last time I went to Florida, we went to New Smyrna Beach, which obviously is further than, you know, Jacksonville, and I think it was like 8-ish, 10-ish hours to get there. So we're going to go to Florida. Hopefully I can get the wife to go to SeaWorld and see dolphins. Or we can visit, you know, another place with dolphins, because she loves dolphins. I like turtles, she likes dolphins, and I really want her to see the dolphins. And, you know, it'd be cool, you know. So, this should be a very interesting trip. And here I am running out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon.